Those are the headlines, and now the news in detail. His Majesty Sultan Haitham bin Tariq sent a cable of greetings to His Excellency President Oknagin Khulsak of Mongolia on the occasion of him taking oath as the new president of the country. His Highness Sayyid Yazin bin Haitham Al Said, Minister of Culture, Sports and Youth, received Her Excellency Federica Pavi, Ambassador of the Italian Republic, to the Sultanate. On the occasion, the meeting reviewed the bilateral relations between the two friendly countries, as well as several topics of common interest. It also touched on aspects of existing cooperation in the cultural, sports and youth fields and means of developing them to serve interests of the two sides. The Ministry of Health reported 46 new COVID-19 fatalities, 2,243 cases and 1,720 recoveries. The Minister also pointed out that the 197 cases were hospitalized over the past 24 hours, as the total number of current hospitalized COVID-19 patients stands at 1,650. The cases in intensive care units reach 506. The total number of COVID-19 cases in Sultanate reached 264,702, while the total number of deaths reached 3,012. The total recovered cases reached 231,718. The implementation of the second phase of the national campaign for immunization against coronavirus COVID-19 continued at the Governorate of Al-Dakhiliyah with active community participation. The campaign program reached the community through 20 vaccination centers to immunize more than 20,000 people at the Governorate level in the second package of the national efforts to combat coronavirus. The Sultanate, represented by the Ministry of Health, signed a country cooperation strategy, CCS, with the World Health Organization, WHO. The strategy aims to support national health plans and policies of the Sultanate. It also aims to enhance means of substantive and technical cooperation for responding to priorities and demands of the Sultanate to achieve goals of sustainable developments related to health. The strategy aims to enhance the health lifestyle amid Omani society members. The Sultanate is considered the first country in the Middle East to improve health strategy through new consultation methodology, which coincides with the 10th five-year plan for the health development of the Ministry of Health. The 2021-2025 health strategy enjoys the flexibility of the time frame in order to keep pace with the planning cycles of the countries and UN bodies. The strategy also enjoys its ability to accommodate changing circumstances of the countries, like emergency cases and recurrent disasters. The agreement was signed by His Excellency Dr. Ahmed bin Mohammed Al Saidi, Minister of Health, and His Excellency Dr. John Jabur, representative of the World Health Organization, to the Sultanate. The Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Water Resources organized a workshop with the FAO organization to put up the foundation stone for the national plan for the development and management of fishing areas of small pelagic fish in the Sultanate. It aims to identify the goals and range of the plan, discuss the report related to biology of small pelagic fish, targeted fishing fleets, fish quantity, as well as investments related to the in-country value and economic revenues. The workshop was presided over by His Excellency Dr. Saud bin Hamoud Al Habsi, Minister of Agriculture and Fisheries and water resources. The Ministry of Heritage and Tourism signed an agreement with the Omani Liquefied Natural Gas Oman LNG company to renovate the ancient city of Qalhat in the Wilaya of Sor. The first phase will consist of establishing management and conservation at the site, pathways for visitors, signboards, viewing platforms and other basic facilities. The ecological site of Qalhat is one of the most important sites that was included in the World Heritage List in 2017. The project is expected to generate revenues on a large segment of the local society and the Wilaya of Sor. The Ministry of Culture, Sports and Youth will organize the Youth Photography Competition 2021 for 16 to 21 age category. The competition comes in preparation for the 40th International Biennial Contest of Photography scheduled to be organized by the International Federation of Photographic Art, FIAP, in Belgium this year. The ministry invited the targeted segments to participate in the competition, which aims to encourage young photographers and sharpen their art skills in Omani photography to qualify them for international participation in youth competitions around the world. The competition requires that the photographs should be taken by participants themselves and taken during 2020 to 2021 and never participated in the local competition. Oman oil price August delivery 2021 today reached $73.72 US, comprising an increase by 31 cents compared to the price of last Friday, which was $73.41 US. The average price of Oman oil June delivery 2021 has stabilized 63.10 cents a dollar, thus $1.33 US per barrel lower than May delivery 2021. Still to come, your news bulletin. Bolivian orchestra delights with balcony concerts for pandemic respite. Welcome back to the news from the Sultanate of Oman Television. The U.S. military, under the direction of President Joe Biden, carried out airstrikes against what it said were facilities used by militia groups near the border between Iraq and Syria, drawing condemnation from Iraq's military and calls for revenge by the militia. Pentagon Press Secretary John Kirby say the militias were using the facilities to launch unmanned aerial vehicle attacks against U.S. troops in Iraq. It was the second time the Biden administration has taken military action in the region since it took over earlier this year. Kirby said the U.S. military targeted the operational and weapons storage facilities last night, 2 in Syria and 1 in Iraq. Meanwhile, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi said yesterday that the U.S. airstrike appeared to be a targeted and proportional response to a serious and specific threat. Iran said today it had taken no decision to delete footage from surveillance cameras installed at some of the atomic energy facilities in the UN nuclear watchdog, the International Atomic Energy Agency. The issue is a part of broader talks underway in Vienna aiming to salvage the 2015 Iran nuclear deal that has been hanging by a thread since former President Donald Trump withdrew the U.S. from it 3 years ago. The Iranian Foreign Ministry spokesman said no decision had been taken on the deletion of the data recorded by the International Atomic Energy Agency cameras. The Atomic Energy Organization of Iran said the cameras would keep running, but that with the withheld footage would be deleted if U.S. sanctions were not lifted within 3 months. At least 7 people were killed and more than 50 were injured in an explosion in the Bangladesh capital late yesterday. The cause of the blast, which occurred on the ground floor of the 3-story building on a busy street in Dhaka's Mok Bazar area, was not immediately known. The Dhaka City Police Commissioner told reporters that after visiting the scene that they have information so far that 7 people died in the accident and 50 others have been admitted to hospitals. The novel coronavirus have killed more than 3.92 million people since the outbreak emerged in China in December 2019. At least 181.2 million cases of coronavirus have been registered. Yesterday, 6,743 new deaths and 325,186 new cases were recorded worldwide. The United States is the worst affected country with 603,967 deaths. After the U.S., the hardest hit countries are Brazil with 513,474 deaths, India 396,730, Mexico 232,564, and Peru with 191,899 deaths. Europe recorded more than 1.16 million deaths, Asia 572,615, the Middle East 149,573, Africa 141,093 deaths. Balconies have become the new performance space for Bolivia's National Symphony Orchestra after the COVID-19 pandemic forced the closure of concert halls. Passers-by were delighted by the impromptu symphony, providing some respite from a pandemic that has been over 431,000 cases and nearly 16,500 deaths in the Andean nation. This performance is also a bittersweet occasion for the members of the orchestra who lost some of their fellow musicians to the pandemic. Bolivia's National Symphony Orchestra does not yet have a return date to live performances in concert halls. Until then, residents of La Paz can look forward to these impromptu balcony performances. This is the Sultan of Oman Television. Before tonight's bulletin, the main points once again. His Majesty Sultan Haitham bin Tariq greets the President of Mongolia on the occasion of him taking up the oath as the new president of the country. The Ministry of Health reports 46 new COVID-19 deaths in the Sultanate. And the Sultanate signs a country cooperation strategy with the World Health Organization. And with that, we come to the end of tonight's news bulletin. From all of us here in the newsroom and the studios, stay safe. Good night.